This is a video about the Ferguson protest. No, it's not. This is a video about the Black Power movement. No, it's not. This is a video about a young black man that was killed by a police officer. But it's more than that. This is a video about a young black man that was killed by a police officer and got no justice. This video is about people being killed by the police. Black people being killed by the police. And nothing's being done about it. This video is about boys my age that look like me, that feel like me, that was on their way to college like me, that was watching TV like me during things like Trayvon, like me. I can't even get these words out the right way because, it hurts. This video is about our struggle, about the black struggle, because the black struggle is your struggle, whether you realize this or not. And hopefully by the end of this video, you can understand that you're a part of this struggle. Whether you want to be or not, you are a part of our struggle. And you either take our side, the side of the oppressor, or you're neutral. And I want you to know that if you're neutral, you're taking the side of the oppressor. And there's no reason that we should still have to sit here and hold videos. There's no reason I should have to make this video for you to understand that is wrong. That cops are killing black men. They're killing white men. They're killing more black men than white men, but they're killing Spanish men. They're killing men. They're killing women. And no one's doing anything about it. And they're getting away with it. They're not even getting brought to trial. They can't even get an indictment. That's wrong. What part of that isn't everyone understanding? That's what I don't understand. And because I don't understand, maybe after you watch this video, you can help me understand how you don't care. So with that being said, let's get into this video. I'm scared. I'm scared every day. I'm scared for myself, but more so for my people. What do I mean by my people? I mean black people. I mean white people. I mean Hispanic, Asian, Arab, Indian people. I mean all the people I can't think of because my Americanized point of view is extremely short-sighted. I'm scared for us because we don't have enough love for each other. It's evident in Ferguson, Missouri. We have spent 4 months debating whether or not this is an issue of race. It's clearly an issue of race. And if you can't see that, it's because you aren't trying to. From 2010 to 2012, police shooting statistics by race from age 15 to 19 showed 1.47 million whites died versus 31.17 million black people. This includes both black men and black women, and I stress this point because too often we forget our black sisters when we speak on issues of race. Because while a little boy like Mike Brown is getting shot, or a young man, while a young man like myself and Mike Brown might get shot, my little sister could be stopped on the corner for just waiting for a bus and be called a prostitute. So let's think about that real quick. Back to my previous point. 29.7 million more black people were killed by the police during a 2-year period. Lord knows, I don't know how you get 29.7 of a person, but from my 8th grade year to my sophomore year of high school, 31.7 million people that looked just like me were killed by police. Now yes, 1.47 million whites were killed, and as a nation, we should address this as well. The lives of black people are no more important than whites, and vice versa. It's not more of a tragedy when Mike Brown gets killed than a young white boy with his hands up doing nothing. But the problem is, when you have a difference of 29.7 million people, you can understand why black people may be a little bit more inclined to focus on ourselves rather than other groups. Now people are coming up to me every day, every time I post something on Instagram or Twitter or Tumblr, and tell me, why are you saying Black Lives Matter? Why don't you tell me all lives matter? Why don't you protest for all people? We are all different people, and different is okay. Right now, my people are the ones getting killed innocently. I'm not saying yours aren't, but with the statistics I just showed you, that I just told you, we're being killed at a much faster rate. Now, if you really cared that all lives matter, why don't you help me in my struggle first before you ask me to help you in yours? I can't fight for all people while my people are dying. Maybe, just maybe, if you joined my people while we fight, then we would join you in your fight. Because we're all have the same fight on different battlefronts. While I fight for my people and my ability to walk in and out of a corner store without being shot by a policeman, there's a Hispanic man on the corner praying that his white boss could pick him up in that pickup truck and bring him down to get some work so that he could feed his family. And that same white man might not even pay him minimum wage. He might not even get that, but he's gonna stand out there on that corner and freeze his ass off in the middle of January to pray that he could find some type of work. That's a different struggle. It's on different planes. Now, I can't fight for him yet. We can't fight until both our fights are over. Now, I can help him, and I can help him to the best of my ability, but at the end of the day, I cannot fight for a Hispanic person. I don't know his struggle. I can't feel his struggle, but I can provide my support. That's all we want is your support. We can't even get that from you. We can't even have you acknowledge that we have a reason worth fighting for. We're fighting for you to first understand why we're fighting. That's what's in the media right now. We're not talking about was the police wrong? Was Darren Wilson wrong? No, the main thing in the media was a white cop killed a black cop, and that's what you're all focusing on. And you're taking away from the protest, because our protest isn't about white cops killing black kids. That's not what this is for. Our protest is that cops are killing black kids and getting away with it. If Darren Wilson was in jail right now, there would be no more protests. We only want justice. Eric Garner gets choked out by a white cop. Who cares? We all care. You heard that? Yeah. We all care, but we don't care. We all care that he was killed by a cop. We all care that he was killed by a white cop, but what we really care about is that he was killed on camera by a police officer, and that officer got away. You saw it. When Mike Brown got killed in Ferguson, everyone said there's no video evidence. We can't prove that. You can't say he might have ran away. You can't say he didn't attack him. You can't say he didn't grab for his gun. There's no video evidence. Until we see that, we don't know all the facts. So now look at this Eric Garner case. What about this didn't you see? What about the police brutality didn't you understand? What about the pleading for his life? The begging for oxygen, the I can't breathe, the bulging out of his eyes, the way his head was pressed against the cement by a cop for nothing more than selling loose cigarettes. What part of that didn't you get? What part of that didn't you see? Because I saw it all. And you know what else I saw? I saw that same cop get away without even an indictment. Before I press on, I'd like to first apologize for my ignorance on the statistics of other races in regards to police killings. But like I said, as a black man myself, my research is focused primarily on black people. Now I encourage you to do your own research and present your own findings so that we can support your cause the way I pray that you support ours. Back to Ferguson. This is a matter of race. It is okay for an issue to be about race. In this country, the second you mention race, people lose their fucking minds. We focus so much on was the killing racist, and we forget that a crime actually took place. Yes, this was a racist crime. Darren Wilson and the St. Louis police force have proven ties to the KKK, America's first terrorist group. And if I know one thing about the United States of America, it is we do not negotiate with terrorists. So why is it that you give this terrorist with a badge national news coverage? Let him call Mike Brown an it on television across the globe. Let him sit there and tell the American people, let him tell the world that if he had the chance, he would do it again. And nothing changed. Is that what it means to be an American? Is this allowed? Despite whether you see eye to eye with me on this, the fact of the matter is that an 18-year-old black person was killed. The fact of the matter is that an 18-year-old person was killed. A boy my age, my race, was killed because an officer considered him an it before he considered him a human. He feared for his life because he didn't see him as another human being. He saw him as a creature, as an it. How scared can you be as a trained officer with a weapon? Every police I know, every police video I've ever watched, every cop drama show, they can fuck up the perpetrator with no problem. Hand-to-hand combat, is that not what they're trained in? Are they not trained to be able to shoot to disarm? If not, that's what we need to train them to do. As a surgeon, when you fuck up, they hold you accountable. If a surgeon goes to give you a liposuction and you die, whose fault is it? Yours or the surgeon? If the cop isn't doing his job correctly, whose job is it? Whose fault is it? The victim or the one holding the gun? The boy who died, the man who can no longer feed his family, or the officer who was scared, who made a mistake? If you feel that this issue wasn't about race, that it doesn't matter, that he got what he deserved, then I ask you to visit the family of Eric Garner, of Mike Brown, of Tamir Rice, of Trayvon Martin. Going down the list of all these names would take too long for this presentation to even finish. But I ask you to go to their families, look their daughters in the eye, look their children in the eyes, their sons, their wives, their cousins, the ones grieving for them, their community. Look them in the eyes, see their pain, and tell them that their son deserved it, that their father deserved it, that they were that much of a criminal that they deserve to have their life taken and that they just have to deal with it. Because if you can't do that, then that's not what you believe. And if that's not what you believe, then you're not fighting for what you believe in, and that's just allowing all this bullshit to keep going. Now I want to address some points that have been brought up to me by a couple people whenever I speak on this matter. For Mike Brown, everybody's go-to response is, didn't he have a weapon? They asked, didn't he rob that store? The owner of that store in Ferguson said Mike Brown didn't rob that store. He didn't call in a robbery. The one you see on video, the store owner doesn't even think that is him. Okay? Even if that was the case, show me where in the American Constitution it says that theft is punishable by death. Because Mike Brown supposedly stole some cigarillos. Where I'm from, those are 2 for $1. So what you're telling me is, if I steal a cigarillo, $1 worth of merchandise. I deserve hot lead through my brain and to be laid to rest. I'm sorry, I deserve to be killed over $1. That's what you're justifying. The next point I got. Mike Brown attacked Darren Wilson. He was a thug. He deserved what he got. Tell you something. As a black person, as a black man in America, our mothers spend every waking moment when we're out of that house worrying about our safety. Before we go out, we get the make sure your hands are always outside of your pockets. Make sure you're not running. Make sure when you get by a cop, speak to them politely. If they grab you, make sure you say nothing. Wait for your lawyer. Wait for your mother and father, or your mother to come to you, or your father to come to you. They take every precaution so that you know the law to protect your life. That's a speech I have to get every time I leave the house. I remember when I wanted to go to my first club, Ciola nightclub. It was the biggest thing in town. At that time, I was maybe 14, 15. I was excited, my first preteen club. I told my mom about it. It was in a white neighborhood. She sat me down and explained the story of Emmett Till to me. The story of a young black boy that whistled at a white woman and was murdered in cold blood and tortured with no justice. Let me ask you, as a white person, as a white man or woman, does your mother sit you down and tell you a story of someone that got killed for just being your color? Because until that happens, we can't talk about all people. Because you're not experiencing the same pain that we're experiencing. We're not fighting for the same thing. You don't understand what we're fighting for. And if you really appreciated what we were fighting for, you would support us. Not try to change the message of our struggle. Support what we say. If I tell you we're being killed, your first reaction isn't to ask me what I did to deserve to be killed. Your first reaction to be, how can we stop you from being, how can we help you, how can we protect you? Bitch, I don't think that. If I get shot today, the first question the media is gonna ask is, what did I do to deserve to be shot? Then they're gonna take some picture of me from 3 years ago where I look like a thug? Where I was wearing all red, that makes me look like I'm in a gang, so now I'm a blood? They're not gonna know about me, Isaiah Jacobs. They're not gonna see me the way y'all have seen me, and y'all haven't even seen the true me. From what y'all have seen of me, do I deserve to die? If I go out right now and steal 2 bags of chips, do I deserve a bullet in my eyes? If that's not the case, if you would fight to protect me if I died, then fight to protect someone that looks just like me. Another point about Mike Brown attacking this officer. He was a thug. Okay, he was a thug. Let's say he was a thug. You know, he wasn't a thug. He wasn't a thug. But let's say for your argument, he was a thug. How many thugs do you know shoot police? Huh? How many thugs do you know shoot police? Only a couple, right? And those are the biggest, baddest thugs, right? Those are the real niggas. Those are the ones that's gonna shoot a cop in his face. They don't give a fuck, right? Fuck the police, right? What does he have? A weapon. He goes in with a weapon. He carries a weapon around him 24/7. That thug is not gonna rob a store unarmed, then walk up to a police car in the middle of the street, reach through his door, reach for his gun, get shot, back out the car with a hand dripping red from where he just got shot, and run at an officer to get shot again. That's not what the fuck happens. Because from the time that thug was raised, from the time he could walk, from the time he could speak, his mother has instilled in him to avoid the police. And even if he took it upon him to attack those same people that he was warned to avoid, he's not gonna do it unarmed. He's not stupid. If he wanted to kill a cop, you bring a weapon to kill a cop. You don't try to take a cop's gun to kill him. Who runs into a war with no weapon, takes the enemy's weapon and uses that to defeat him? No, you get killed. Mike Brown wasn't attacking him. Mike Brown was scared for his life. And with good reason. The next point I hear. But look at the looters. Look at the rioters. Yes, there are looters. Yes, there are riots. Do you understand what a riot is? It's a cry for help. It's what happens when you ignore the cries to the point where people feel the need to burn their neighborhoods to the ground for the world to finally hear their message. Okay? I want you to think of the riots as a child's cry. Because we're all children. We're all children of the nations that we were born into. Now, as an African American, I'm a child of Africa that was taken from my motherland, and brought to this motherland. Now, America, my other mother, she stole me from my original mother. Then she put me in this country and made me work. But I'm still her child. I know nothing of my old mother in Africa. That hurts me every day, but the truth of the matter is I know nothing of that woman. All I know is America. This is all I've ever known, and it might be all I ever know. I'm still her child. Though she took me for a certain purpose, I'm still the child of America. Now, I'm not our only child. There's childs of all other races in this country, and from all other mothers. Some stolen, some came here to visit, some came here to stay, but we're all from different places. Okay? Now, with me being her child, I have many brothers and sisters. I have black brothers and sisters. And we're all looking to the same mother for support. Now, as a mother, as a parent, when your child cries for help, when they tell you that they don't have enough money, that they're dying, that they're hungry, that somebody attacked them, that police shot at them, what's the first thing you do? Because apparently, the first thing that America does when their children throw a fit and they throw a tantrum, which is a riot, it's just a tantrum. But tantrums have meaning. No one just babies don't just cry. Toddlers don't just cry for no reason. They have a legitimate reason for why they're upset. And even if the mother does not understand that reason, she doesn't drive a fucking tank into her child's room. She doesn't point M16s and AK-47s at her kid till they shut up. That's not how you raise a child. And if that is how you raise a child, how can you expect that child to grow up knowing anything but violence? How can you expect him to know anything more than to hurt, than to kill, than to shoot to silence? When that same child grows up and emulates what his mother does, what does his mother do? She calls him a thug. She tells him he's wrong. You know what that child's gonna tell her? I learned it from you. And that's what America is telling you. These looters, these rioters, we learn this behavior from you. When white people don't get their way, they riot left and right. Over football games, over basketball games, over World Series. You can riot over sports, but you can't riot to protect lives? What is wrong with you? I don't understand why this is such an issue. It's a riot, yes. But it's a riot with a purpose. All riots have purpose. Is it against the law to riot? Yes, it was against the law to riot in 1920. And when they did it then, that's what got you your equal pay, your job union. See, when white people riot, it's perfectly fine. When you threw tea overboard of a British ship, y'all celebrate that shit. I have to learn that in every history class I go to. But when my people riot, I get told that we're wrong. That we're thugs. That we're criminals. That we're destroying our property, that burning the American flag means that we should be killed. Well, the last time I checked, there would be no American flag without the blood, sweat, and tears of my people, so we are the American flag. We are the foundation that the American flag is put into. You cannot have America. You cannot have a flag post without first building a foundation upon which you build this flag, or once you put it up and you raise it up. That foundation, who built that foundation? Who built the foundation of this country?
Did not entirely disappear. Some elements of that system did not change. The land, cultivated for generations and still productive, remained. The source of labor, great numbers of Negroes, remained. The demand for cotton remained, and the growing of cotton continued. So the plantation system, in a smaller and modified way, continued and can be found in the South today.